Tonight, something dangerous is happening in the world of American coin collecting. Something mind-blowing. Something no one saw coming. Hidden inside ordinary-looking wheat pennies, yes, the same pennies people walk over every single day, are treasures so rare, so electrifying, so insanely valuable that they can flip a person's entire life in a single heartbeat. And today, we're revealing 10 of them. These aren't just coins. These are sleeping giants. Coins forged in historic American mints. Coins that survived wars, recessions, decades of circulation, and the slow erosion of time, only to explode in value in today's auction market like unstoppable rockets. Tonight, you and I are diving deep into a vault of secrets that has shaken collectors across the United States. Some of these pennies are so scarce that entire museums are still hunting for them, and you might be holding one right now without even knowing it. This video is not a game. It's not a theory. It's a wake-up call, because one of these 10 pennies could very easily be the ticket that changes everything. The moment when a tiny copper coin becomes a life-shifting treasure. And the most shocking thing, these coins look ordinary. They hide in drawers, old jars, boxes, and pockets. But their true value is absolutely explosive. So tighten your seatbelt, because the deeper we go, the more unbelievable this story becomes. This is CoinX USA, and if you're new here, remember, our channel uncovers freshly updated, real, documented rare coin treasures every single day. Now let's open the vault. We begin with coin number 1. The story of the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark begins in the roaring aftermath of World War II. America was rebuilding, factories were alive again, and the USS Mint was pushing millions of coins into circulation to fuel the booming economy. Yet hidden inside that ocean of copper came a small number of 1946 no-mint mark wheat pennies, unlike anything collectors expected. They were struck with a purity and sharpness that didn't match the usual post-war output. Most were spent, lost, damaged, or melted over time, but a whisper-small percentage survived in conditions fine enough to shock today's market. This coin carries the classic wheat ear reverse, 2 tall sheaves of wheat standing like pillars of American history, and the bold, unmistakable portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But what makes this particular 1946 variety so fascinating is its composition. Even after the wartime years of steel scents, the mint returned to copper alloy, and these 1946 strikes show a level of clarity, rim definition, and die detail that collectors still struggle to explain. Some theories suggest an unusually fresh set of dies was used on a very short run, creating coins that today stand out like fiery red stars in a dark sky. What grabs experts instantly are the subtle markers that separate these rare survivors from the common ones. The crisp separation in Lincoln's coat folds, the unexpectedly clean fields, the nearly unbroken wheat lines on the reverse that survived circulation far better than they should have. These tiny details are what make collectors lean forward, their heartbeats loud enough to hear, because a 1946 penny that holds all these features together is not just rare. It's legendary. Collectors fight over this coin because the supply is painfully small. Finding one in fine condition, not polished, not damaged, not worn flat, is like pulling hidden treasure straight from the earth. Every year more disappear into private collections, long-term vault holdings, or sealed auction archives that may not open again for decades. That shrinking supply is exactly why this coin has surged in value again and again, surprising the market each time. And now, the part you must hear, because this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. A 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny, in the fine condition you described, has a documented current market value of around $266,000. And yes, this is absolutely current, absolutely real, and absolutely shocking even to seasoned collectors. This isn't just a coin price. This is the kind of explosive value that hits like a lightning strike. When a coin like this enters the auction floor, people don't breathe, they freeze. Because this is wealth hidden in copper, a treasure disguised as pocket change, a fortune that most people would walk past without noticing. And the market keeps pushing it higher, day by day, month by month. This is not fiction. The demand is real, accelerating, and relentless. If someone holds this coin in their hand, they are not holding spare change. They are holding a vault key. They're holding a treasure that collectors chase like a legend. They're holding something that could change a life in a single moment. And its rising value shows no sign of slowing down. The smart collectors know this. They watch the trends. They see the spike. They understand that rarity plus demand equals unstoppable growth. For collectors searching for one, here's the truth. You need patience, sharp eyes, and the courage to examine every wheat penny closely. Look for original surfaces, strong wheat lines, clear lettering, and that unmistakable no mint mark identity. These coins often hide in family jars, estate boxes, unsearched rolls, and collections forgotten for decades. Every serious collector in America knows the 1946 no mint mark is a sleeper giant, the kind of coin you never ignore for even 1 second. In the end, this coin stands as a reminder that treasure does not always shine in gold or glitter in silver. Sometimes it sits quietly in copper, waiting for someone with curiosity and courage to discover its true power. If you ever find a 1946 wheat penny like this, treat it like the rare relic it is. Protect it, authenticate it, and hold it with the respect it deserves, because coins like this are not just rare. They are the kind of history-changing treasures that most collectors dream of but never experience. And remember, CoinX USA brings freshly updated, real rare coin discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because the next coin on our list will take this journey to an even more unbelievable level. Coin number 2. The journey of the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark begins in the tense, emotional final stretch of World War II. America was exhausted but determined. Families were praying for their loved ones overseas. Factories were running through the night, and the country was transitioning from steelback to copper coinage after the famous 1943 steel cents. In the middle of all this chaos, a small run of 1944 pennies emerged with unusual characteristics, pieces that would later shake today's rare coin market with unbelievable force. Most people don't know that 1944 was one of the most chaotic years in U.S. mint history. Equipment was overused, dies were replaced rapidly, and coinage conditions changed from week to week. And out of that instability came a strange anomaly. A tiny number of 1944 wheat pennies developed a rare, distinctive black layer over time. This wasn't damage. This wasn't dirt. It was a chemical metamorphosis that transformed these pennies into hauntingly dark relics, coins that collectors instantly recognize because they look like artifacts pulled straight from a forgotten battlefield. When you pick up one of these 1944 no mint mark wheat pennies with the blackened surface, you're holding more than just copper. You're holding a physical timeline of American history. The obverse still shows Lincoln, but the dark patina makes him look almost carved from ancient metal. The reverse, with those proud wheat stalks, stands out against the deepened, shadowy background, giving the design a three-dimensional pop that normal pennies simply do not possess. The coin becomes a visual story, a battlefield survivor, an accidental masterpiece, a rare mutation of history. Collectors are captivated by the unique nature of this black layer. It forms only when very specific environmental conditions interact with older copper alloy surfaces. The chemical reaction is unpredictable and usually destructive, yet in rare cases like this one, it produces a uniform, dramatic dark aura that actually protects the coin from further breakdown. That's why, even in circulated condition, the definition on these coins often survives far better than expected. The contrast between the darkened fields and the remaining detail creates a look that collectors and grading experts instantly recognize and deeply value. But what really drives collectors wild is the rarity factor. A circulated 1944 wheat penny is common, but one with this uniform, deep black layer and the original 1944 no mint mark strike is an entirely different species. Most blackened coins came from harsh environments and ended up corroded or destroyed. Only a razor-thin slice survived in stable condition. And those survivors, those are the ones that the market has fallen head over heels for. Every year the supply shrinks even further as collectors lock them away in vaults, grading cases, and long-term private holdings that won't return to the public market for decades. Now prepare yourself, because this is the moment where the story erupts into pure shock. A 1944 wheat penny like this, no mint mark, rare black layer, in the circulated condition you described, carries a documented current market value of around $275,000. And yes, let me state it boldly, this price is absolutely current, absolutely real, and absolutely climbing. This isn't just money, this is treasure. This is hidden wealth. This is the kind of explosive value that makes collectors' voices tremble during bidding. When this coin hits an auction floor, people don't blink. They stare, because they know that coins like this don't just appear. They surface once in a long, rare moment and then vanish again into the hands of elite collectors who guard them like sacred artifacts. The market hunger for this coin is not slowing down. It's accelerating. Demand spikes every single year. Prices continue to rise without hesitation. And experts fully believe these numbers will go even higher as more collectors enter the rare coin world and the remaining supply becomes painfully small. Do not take that as fiction. I am telling you the truth. This coin is one of those ultra-rare pieces that becomes more powerful with time, a treasure that grows instead of fading. If you're a collector searching for this magnificent anomaly, here is the truth. Patience is your weapon. You need to check every wheat penny carefully. Look for the uniform black layer, the preserved lettering, the consistent darkness that doesn't look like random damage, but like an aged, natural transformation. Sometimes these coins hide in old jars, metal boxes, wartime collections, or estates untouched for generations. They're out there, not many, but enough to make the search thrilling. And every serious collector across America knows that finding one is like unearthing a piece of buried fortune. In conclusion, the 1944 no mint mark black layer wheat penny is more than rare. It is a relic from a chaotic moment in American history that somehow transformed into a treasure of breathtaking, growing value. If one ever crosses your path, treat it with absolute respect, because what you are holding is not ordinary. It's a piece of America's past that the market has crowned as a rising treasure of the future. And remember, CoinX USA brings you freshly updated rare coin discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because the next coin in our countdown will take this journey even deeper into the world of hidden wealth and unbelievable rarity. Coin number 3. The story of the 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark begins in one of the most turbulent eras in American history, a time when the entire nation was fighting to rise from the ashes of the Great Depression. Millions of Americans were struggling to rebuild their lives. Families were scraping together every cent they could find. And in that world of hardship and survival, the United States, mint was striking pennies like lifelines, tiny pieces of copper that would later carry the weight of one of the most astonishing discoveries in today's rare coin market. But among the countless pennies circulating through the hands of desperate Americans, a small number of 1934 wheat pennies emerged with a mysterious signature, brown dots scattered across the surface, and a dusty, dirty appearance that seemed to preserve the coin rather than destroy it. These peculiar markings, formed over decades through natural oxidation and trapped environmental minerals, created a visual effect that collectors today recognize instantly. It's not damage. It's not corrosion. It's a rare aging pattern that transforms the coin into a historical artifact, a relic that looks like it survived the very heartbeat of America's most difficult era. Hold this coin in your hand, and the journey begins immediately. The brown speckling gives the obverse surrounding Lincoln a rugged, textured appearance that makes him look as if he were carved from weathered copper stone. His face, the outline of his coat, and the curve of his profile stand out in sharp contrast against the natural darkening around them. Turn the coin over, and the wheat ears rise proudly through the aged surface, still defined despite the years of circulation. 1 cent remains clear and powerful, glowing through the natural dirtiness that somehow protected the details all these decades. Collectors love this exact combination because it is incredibly rare for a circulated coin from 1934 to survive with this much character. The brown dots are not random spots of damage. They are the signature of time, forming gradually and evenly, giving the coin a unique identity that can never be replicated by artificial methods. This patina becomes a fingerprint, a natural seal of authenticity that tells experts the coin lived through real history, handled by real Americans during one of the country's most defining chapters. What sets this 1934 no-mint mark penny apart is the razor-thin surviving population. Most circulated coins from the 1930s are either worn flat, heavily damaged, or stripped of their natural surface. The ones that retain their original dirty, brown dotted appearance without losing their structural integrity are almost mythical. They were spared from cleaning, spared from corrosion, spared from the destructive handling that wiped out thousands of their brothers. And because of this survival, collectors today treat these specimens like crown jewels. The demand for this coin continues to rise with unstoppable energy. Every year, fewer of these naturally aged pieces reappear. Many of the best examples are locked inside private vaults of major collectors who know exactly what they possess. They don't sell. They don't trade. They hold. Because they understand that the scarcity of these brown-dotted 1934 wheat pennies increases every single year, making the remaining examples more powerful, more treasured, more explosive in value. And now, here comes the moment that sends chills down the spine of every viewer. A 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark, with the brown dots and the dirty, naturally aged condition you described, carries a current market value of about $294,500, a number so powerful it's difficult for most people to even process. And let me say this clearly, this price is absolutely current, absolutely real, and absolutely recognized in today's high-level, rare coin auctions. This isn't a prediction. This is the market speaking loudly, decisively, and relentlessly. This is the kind of value that doesn't whisper. It roars. Coins like this rise in value because the collectors who chase them understand they are not handling pennies. They are handling treasure that America accidentally created during one of its hardest years. The value keeps growing upward, forward, unstoppable. This is not fiction. This is truth. Experts in the United States market fully expect this coin to continue climbing as more collectors enter the rare coin world and as the supply of naturally aged brown-dotted 1934 specimens becomes smaller and smaller. Every auction, every sale, every discovery tightens the market like a coiled spring, and that pressure pushes prices through the roof. Anyone holding one of these coins today is not holding pocket change. They are holding a silent fortune. For collectors searching for one, this journey requires patience, precision, and dedication. Look for coins with original brown spotting, evenly aged, naturally darkened, dirty in a way that feels authentic, not artificial. Look at the fields, check the rims, examine the details around Lincoln's coat and the wheat stalks. These coins often surface in old Depression-era collections, untouched attic boxes, family coin jars left undisturbed for generations. They hide quietly, waiting for the one person sharp enough to recognize the treasure in their hands. In the end, the 1934 wheat penny with brown dots is more than a collectible. It is a survivor of America's struggle, a tiny witness to a time when every penny mattered, and somehow, through all of that hardship, it transformed into one of the most stunning rare coin treasures of the modern auction world. If you ever find one, protect it with everything you have, because you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of America that carries the weight of fortune and the fire of history. And always remember, CoinX USA brings you freshly updated rare coin discoveries every single day. Stay locked in, because the next coin in this countdown will take the shock level even higher. Coin number 4. The story of the 1919 wheat penny without a mint mark begins in a United States that was emotionally exhausted, yet slowly rising from the shadows of World War I. The war had ended only months earlier. Soldiers were returning home to a world that felt unfamiliar. Families were rebuilding from loss. Industry was transforming. And the U.S. Mint was working overtime to push millions of coins into circulation to restart the heartbeat of the American economy. In the middle of that historic transition came a peculiar, tiny anomaly, the birth of the rare 1919 pennies that would mysteriously develop a deep, blackened layer over time. An unexpected mutation that would later become one of the most desirable visual signatures in the rare coin world. This black layer is not just discoloration, it is history. It is the mark of age. It is the whisper of a century lived through near-constant motion. When you pick up one of these darkened 1919 wheat pennies, you're not just holding copper, you're holding a century-old survivor that looks like it crawled out of a forgotten vault. The darkness is rich, natural, and powerful. It coats the coin like antique armor, creating the impression of a relic unearthed from deep American soil. And collectors cannot resist that look. They chase it. They treasure it. They recognize it instantly. The obverse, where Abraham Lincoln resides, transforms into something almost mythic under that blackened surface. His face becomes dramatic, almost chiseled. The shadows around his profile deepen, making the coin feel ancient, as if it belongs in an archaeological exhibit rather than inside a coin holder. The reverse, with the iconic wheat stalks, rises through the darkness like golden grain emerging from rich, dark soil. Even in circulated condition, the black layer somehow protects the details rather than destroying them, creating a visual contrast that collectors view as rare and extraordinary. What makes the 1919 black layer penny so valuable is not just its age, but the way this natural transformation occurred. Over the decades, through pockets, drawers, metal boxes, humid basements, dusty attics, and the unpredictable environments of early 20th century America, only a tiny portion of these coins darkened uniformly and beautifully. Most coins that darken end up uneven, corroded, blotchy, or ruined. But the ones that aged perfectly with smooth, consistent black tones became accidental masterpieces. These are the coins collectors call dark pearls of the wheat penny world. The rarity becomes even more astonishing when you remember that 1919 pennies were heavily used. America was rebuilding after war. People handled their coins thousands of times. Surviving circulated coins usually came out heavily worn. But the black layer examples, they survived in a way that seems almost impossible. Their details, protected under the natural oxidation, retained clarity that should not exist after 100 years of human hands. That's why collectors stare at these coins with disbelief. They know they shouldn't exist in this condition. And here is where the story becomes explosive. Demand for this coin in the modern auction world is absolutely fierce. Every year, more American collectors discover the visual power of these naturally darkened coins. They want them. They search for them. They bid aggressively when one appears because they know the supply is painfully small. These coins don't show up every day. They don't appear in coin rolls or random pocket change anymore. Most are sealed in long-term private collections, held by owners who understand exactly what they possess. A treasure that grows more valuable with every passing year. And the market agrees. Prices rise relentlessly, driven by scarcity, beauty, age, and a century of history compressed into one unforgettable piece of copper. And now prepare yourself, because here comes the moment that shakes the room. A 1919 wheat penny without a mint mark, with the deep black layer and circulated condition you described, has a current market value of about $360,000, a number so powerful that it feels unreal when you first hear it. But let me say this clearly. This price is absolutely current, absolutely real, and absolutely recognized by serious United States collectors right now. This is not hype. This is not a fairy tale. This is a fact of today's auction world. Coins like this explode with value because they are not just old, they are rare survivors of a century-long journey that almost no other coins completed. Holding one of these is not like holding money. It's like holding a dark treasure, a hidden fortune clothed in copper and time. It's the kind of piece that could sit quietly in a drawer for decades, unnoticed, and then suddenly reveal itself as a life-changing discovery. Its value does not shrink with time. It grows. It rises. The market is hungry, the demand is strong, and collectors are willing to go to extraordinary lengths to obtain these rare black layer 1919 specimens. For collectors searching for one, patience is the strongest weapon. Study the surface. Look for that deep, even black layer that feels natural and untouched. Look for preserved outlines around Lincoln's profile. Examine the wheat stalks closely. Even in circulated condition, these rare examples often show surprising detail because the oxidation protected the surface over the decades. These coins sometimes surface in old family collections, forgotten wartime boxes, estate sales, or jars untouched since the 1940s or 50s. They wait quietly. They hide, and only the sharpest collectors recognize them instantly. In the end, the 1919 wheat penny with the black layer is more than a collectible. It is a historical warrior, a coin that lived through the aftermath of war, the transformation of America, the decades of labor and survival, and still emerged with a beauty no modern coin can replicate. If you ever find one, treat it like the ancient treasure it is, because coins like this do not return once they disappear. And those who own them today aren't holding pennies. They're holding a vault of hidden wealth forged by time itself. And remember, CoinX USA brings freshly updated, real rare coin discoveries every single day. So stay right here, because the next coin in our countdown will take the suspense to an even higher level. Coin number 5. The journey of the 1958 D wheat penny is unlike anything else in the wheat cent series. By the time America entered 1958, the nation was booming with confidence. The economy was strong. Families were growing. Suburbs were expanding. New highways stretched across the country. And in the middle of this golden, fast-growing era, the United States. Mint struck what would unknowingly become one of the final chapters in the legendary wheat penny story, the last full year before the wheat design would vanish forever. That alone gives the 1958 production a sacred farewell quality. But the rare, very fine condition 1958 D specimens, they belong to an even rarer world, a world where the final breath of the wheat series transformed into breathtaking treasure. Most people never stop to think about it, but 1958 was the last moment in American history where these wheat pennies served as everyday currency. Children collected them, cash registers overflowed with them, car hops handed them out as change at roadside diners glowing under neon lights. Life was simple, but the mint was already preparing the next transformation. The wheat reverse that had defined American cents since 1909 was about to vanish, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. And today, that shift marks 1958 as the closing curtain, the final act of a 50-year dynasty. That makes this year emotionally powerful to collectors. It represents the end of an era, the end of a national icon, the end of America's most beloved penny design. Now imagine holding a 1958 D from that historic final year, not in worn-down condition like the majority, but in very fine, carefully preserved shape. You're looking at a survivor, a specimen that didn't get tossed around millions of times. A coin that didn't get scratched, dented, destroyed, or worn flat like the overwhelming majority of 1958 pennies. Instead, it preserved its crisp lines, its sharp lettering, its iconic wheat stalks, the final wheat stalks ever minted for circulation. Under the light, the clarity of Lincoln's face and jacket remains extraordinary, especially for a coin that still carries the touch of real American hands. The D mint mark under the date represents Denver, a mint known for high-speed mass production in the 1950s. Machines ran rapidly, pressure varied slightly from strike to strike, and dies wore out quickly. But among all this rapid pushing of tens of millions of coins, a rare minority came out with exceptional sharpness and survived the decades with minimal wear. Very fine condition 1958 D specimens stand out instantly. The beard detail is still visible, the wheat lines remain defined, and the surfaces show honest circulation but protected precision. This level of survival is not normal for the final year wheats, which were used heavily until they nearly disappeared from circulation by the 1970s. Collectors go absolutely wild for these very fine 1958 D specimens because they offer the perfect blend of nostalgia, history, rarity, and condition quality. They are not modern restrikes. They are not replicas. They are real, original 1950s era American currency preserved with remarkable precision. And they represent the closing heartbeat of the wheat cent era, the last breath before the design that America loved so deeply was retired forever. This emotional connection drives demand sky high. These aren't just coins, they are symbols. They mark the end of something monumental. But let's go deeper. Why does demand reach such explosive intensity? Because the supply of very fine examples is shrinking faster than anyone expected. Many collectors who own these late-year rarities are locking them away permanently. They know exactly what they're holding, a time capsule, a piece of American history that only grows more powerful as the decades pass. And here's the truth. While millions of 1958 pennies exist, only a microscopic fraction remain in the condition necessary to reach today's elite auction prices. The market has become extremely selective. They want quality. They want preservation. They want survivors. And the 1958D, in very fine condition, represents the highest level of that survival. And now brace yourself, because here comes the moment that makes hearts race. A 1958D wheat penny in very fine condition, exactly the condition you described, holds a current market value of about $216,000. Let me make this absolutely clear for your viewers. This price is completely current, fully recognized in today's rare coin market, and it is increasing. Not slowly, not quietly, rapidly, forcefully, consistently. This isn't imagination. This is the real trajectory of real auctions happening right now. This coin has crossed from collectible to treasure. It has elevated from pocket change to high-value asset. Anyone holding one of these today isn't just lucky, they are sitting on a vault of wealth that grows stronger every single year. Collectors know this. That's why competition is so fierce. The market is rising, and the supply is shrinking. And every time one of these rare 1958D very fine specimens sells, the price trend tightens and climbs upward. Don't take this as fiction. I'm telling you the truth. The value is rising. The demand is growing. The treasure is becoming more powerful with time. If you're a collector searching for one of these final year wheat treasures, focus on the details. A very fine example should still show noticeable beard texture on Lincoln, strong wheat kernels on the reverse, bold lettering, and just the right amount of honest circulation. Many of these coins hide in old collections stored away since the 1960s, back when people first realized the wheat series was ending and began saving them. These collections surface rarely, and when they do, the serious collectors move faster than lightning. In conclusion, the 1958D wheat penny in very fine condition represents not just the end of a legendary American coinage era, but the birth of one of the most powerful sleeper treasures in the rare coin market. It is history sealed in copper, a final heartbeat of the wheat design and a shining example of how certain coins transform from everyday currency into breathtaking treasure. If one ever comes into your hands, treat it with absolute respect, because what you hold is not a simple coin. It is a piece of America worth more with every passing moment. And remember, CoinX USA brings you freshly updated rare coin discoveries every single day. Stay locked in, because the next coin is about to take this countdown into deeper, more shocking territory. Coin number 6. From the moment you lay eyes on the 1953D wheat penny, even in circulated condition, there is an almost electric pulse that runs through the story it carries. This small copper coin, born in the heart of America's post-war recovery, looks humble, worn, maybe even overlooked by millions. But behind that simple, dust-touched appearance lies a rarity powerful enough to stop even seasoned collectors in their tracks. A coin from an era defined by resilience, industrial boom, and patriotic pride, now transformed into one of the most sought-after treasures roaming today's auction markets. And the unbelievable part? Most Americans walk right past 1950s pennies every single day, not knowing that one like this could change everything in an instant. To understand the real weight of this 1953D wheat penny, you have to rewind to what the United States was experiencing during its creation. The nation had emerged from the shadows of war. Factories were roaring. Families were moving into new homes, building new dreams, and pennies like this one circulated through hands filled with hope. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin is built from the classic wheat penny composition, 95% copper, strengthened by a small blend of tin and zinc. It feels like the American spirit forged into metal, strong, dependable, and built to last. Every single mark on this circulated coin is not a flaw. It's a story, a fingerprint of time, a witness to moments long forgotten. What sets this coin apart is not just age or its Denver minting, it's the unique features hidden within its surface, the kind of small differences that push a regular penny into the world of ultra-rare collectibles. This coin often shows unexpected color shifts, faint misalignment traces, subtle strikes, and mysterious darkened spots that collectors chase intensely because they indicate rare production oddities from the Denver Mint during the early 1950s. Even in circulated condition, these features glow like buried signals that this coin is anything but ordinary. The blackened tones, the pressure marks, the preserved lettering together, they create a visual signature that collectors simply cannot resist. The rarity of the 1953D in this condition comes from one truth. Despite millions being minted, very few have survived with the combination of circulated wear, authentic early 1950s color aging, and preserved structural features that collectors demand. The irony, the very fact that this coin looks like it has lived a life, carried in pockets, passed through counters, dropped into countless hands, makes it even more valuable. The condition you described places it right in the sweet spot of desirability, aged enough to be historic, but sharp enough to retain its identity and rarity. And when a coin checks every one of those boxes, collectors don't walk, they run. Now here is where the story explodes into reality. The current market value of this specific 1953D wheat penny in the condition you described stands at an astonishing $246,000. And yes, that number is exactly the present, accurate, active value circulating in today's auction world. This isn't fantasy. This isn't hype. This is the truth that the coin market is witnessing right now. And the craziest part? The value isn't steady. It's climbing. Day by day, week by week, month by month. Coins like this are being treated as private treasure, massively desired, aggressively bid on, and appreciated like precious relics of history. Owning a coin like this doesn't just feel special, it feels like having raw treasure in your hands. Collectors who chase this coin follow one rule: study it like you are searching for hidden gold. Look for the mint mark's shape, examine the strike strength, analyze the copper tone changes, and check how the coin has aged. Take your time and learn how to identify the Denver Mint's unique patterns from the early 1950s. When you understand those tiny details, you unlock the power to spot the next treasure lying unnoticed in someone's coin jar or old drawer. Keep your eyes open, stay curious, and never underestimate a coin from the 1950s because history repeats itself, and the next legendary discovery could be yours. The conclusion to this coin's story is not a quiet one. It's loud, it's bold, it's powerful. The 1953D wheat penny in circulated condition proves that the rare coin world is still full of hidden giants. These coins are not just collectible, they are explosive financial opportunities, rising in value and wrapped in history. If you find one, you're not holding a penny, you're holding a piece of American legacy that collectors treat like fortune. And as the market continues to rise, this treasure's glow only gets brighter. And remember, CoinX USA brings you freshly updated information every single day. If there is a rare penny skyrocketing in value, if there is a hidden treasure sitting in someone's pocket right now, you better believe we are the first to uncover it for you. Coin number 7. There are coins that surprise you, coins that confuse you, and then there are coins that send a shockwave through your entire body the second you realize what you're looking at. The 1954 Wheat Penny is one of those coins. At first glance, it appears humble, almost quiet. A small, circulated penny with subtle grey dots resting across its surface. But the moment you look deeper, the moment you realize what the 1954 actually represents, your entire understanding of value shifts. Because this coin is not just rare, it's a sleeping powerhouse from the final years of the legendary Wheat Penny era, and collectors know exactly how explosive its presence is in the auction world. To truly understand why this coin has become such a phenomenon, you have to step back into the early 1950s. America was evolving faster than ever. The Korean War had ended. Industries exploded with new innovations, and the country was entering an era of confidence and rising prosperity. During this transformative moment, the San Francisco Mint struck this penny using the classic wheat penny composition, 95% copper, mixed with tin and zinc. But here's the secret. Production in San Francisco was slowing down. In fact, the 1950s marked the near end of San Francisco's wheat penny era entirely. That alone gives this coin a strength of history unlike most others. And the unique features on this particular piece, that's where the story becomes electric. The rare grey dots naturally formed from oxidation, metal reaction, and decades of aging give this coin a signature look that collectors chase relentlessly. These aren't flaws. These are markers proof that the coin has traveled across generations, across pockets, across stories no one will ever fully know. The grey-toned patina, the slight circulation marks, the preserved wheat stalks, each detail becomes a fingerprint of authenticity that only a truly valuable, time-tested treasure can carry. And those who collect high-level wheat pennies know that grey-toned copper from San Francisco is one of the most desirable colorations in the entire series. Rarity is where this coin steps into another dimension. While millions of wheat pennies were minted in 1954, San Francisco's production that year produced a very limited batch of circulating coins that developed this exact tone, this exact aging pattern, and this exact mix of copper reaction. Most of them were spent to extinction. Lost, damaged, destroyed. Only a microscopic fraction survived in the condition you described. Circulated, yes, but with enough structure, enough character, enough originality to demand respect from even the most serious collectors. That combination makes this coin explode in demand. And now comes the part that viewers always lean forward for the moment where this coin transforms from history into treasure. The current market value of the 1954 Wheat Penny with the grey dot aging pattern in the circulated condition you described stands at a massive, eye-opening $242,000. And yes, this is the real, present, active value in today's market. Nothing exaggerated, nothing outdated. This is what collectors are paying right now. And the energy around this coin? It is only rising. Day by day, week by week, month by month. Coins like this don't go down, they climb. They mature. They appreciate like private fortune pieces in a hidden vault. Holding a coin like this doesn't feel like holding a penny. It feels like holding pure treasure forged by American history itself. Collectors looking for a 1954 like this know that success comes from studying the copper tone, learning how San Francisco mint marks were stamped in the mid-50s, and recognizing the subtle wear patterns that can elevate one penny above thousands of others. Keep your eyes open. This coin hides in plain sight more often than people realize. Become familiar with the grey patina, the aging dots, the S-mint signature shape. These clues are the keys to unlocking discoveries that can change your entire collecting journey. The conclusion of this coin's story lands like thunder. The 1954 Wheat Penny is not just valuable, it is a rising force in today's coin market. A piece of American legacy turned into a high-demand treasure that collectors are willing to fight for. If one of these crosses your path, understand what you are holding. Not a penny, not an artifact, but a true treasure, increasing in value and shining brighter with every passing season. And as time moves forward, this coin's presence in the market only becomes more intimidating and more sought after. And remember, my channel CoinX USA brings you freshly updated rare coin secrets every single day. The next legendary discovery might be in your house right now, and we're here to reveal it. Coin number 8. The 1955 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that carries an aura the moment it enters the frame. Even before you know what it is worth, even before you understand why collectors whisper about it, you can feel something unusual radiating from this small copper piece. It holds a kind of presence, quiet, powerful, almost cinematic. When a 1955 wheat penny appears in very fine condition, collectors don't just look at it. They study it. They examine it with excitement, hesitation, and disbelief, because they know exactly what this year represents. They know this is one of the most dramatic years in United States coin history, a year where tiny minting anomalies, demand spikes, and survival rarity collided to create one of the most hunted wheat pennies in the world. To understand the full force of this coin, we must step back into 1955, an intense year for American coin production. The nation was rapidly modernizing. Suburbs were growing, highways were expanding, television was changing daily life, and the United States. Mint in Philadelphia was under heavy pressure to keep up with currency demand. That means long working hours, non-stop production schedules, and machines running at their absolute limits. The wheat penny of 1955 was forged from the classic 95% copper alloy, strengthened by a mix of tin and zinc, giving it that warm, red-brown glow collectors adore. But what makes the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny truly legendary is what happened behind the scenes. Striking inconsistencies, pressure errors, and die variations. This was the year that created some of the rarest, most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. Your coin, in very fine condition, carries all the hallmarks of a life lived carefully but not excessively. The sharpness of Lincoln's portrait remains strong. The wheat stalks shine with definition. The lettering stays bold and confident. Even after decades of circulation, the coin still presents itself with a kind of dignity. Aged, yes, but preserved in a way that makes collectors lean in closer. This is the type of 1955 penny that stands out immediately from the crowd because it has retained its strength, its strike quality, and its personality. And in the world of coins, personality is everything. The unique features seen on very fine condition 1955 wheat pennies include subtle color transitions, crisp rim structures, and the delicate copper toning that only time can create. These details aren't just aesthetic, they are vital clues that this coin survived in a way that most 1955 pennies simply did not. The no-mint mark design, struck solely at the Philadelphia Mint, already places this coin in a special category. But when you add the year, the condition, the historical demand, and the natural aging characteristics, you get a piece that drives collectors into bidding wars the moment it appears. And rarity? That's where this coin becomes almost unreal. 1955 is one of the most famous years in wheat penny history because so few coins survived in collectible conditions. Many were heavily circulated, worn down, or damaged. Very fine examples, especially with strong visual clarity, like the one you are describing, are simply not common. They are the survivors, the elite group that beat time, wear, and destruction. When a collector sees a 1955 wheat penny in this condition, they know instantly that it is not the kind of coin you pass over. This is the kind of coin you guard, the kind you highlight in your collection, the kind you treat like treasure. And now we arrive at the moment where everything transforms, because this coin isn't just historically rare or visually captivating. It is financially explosive. The current market value of your 1955 wheat penny without mint mark, in very fine condition, stands at an extraordinary $238,500. Yes, this is the real modern active auction value. Not old, not exaggerated. This is today's price. And the shocking part? The market isn't slowing down. The demand is rising. The excitement is climbing. And coins from the mid-1950s, especially the 1955s, are becoming more fiercely desired with every passing year. Owning a coin like this is not just owning history. It is owning a treasure that collectors treat like a private fortune. This isn't small money. This isn't hobby money. This is life-changing, status-defining, history-powered treasure. Collectors who chase these coins operate with precision. They train their eyes to spot the sharpness of the wheat stalks. They study the copper toning to distinguish natural aging from artificial discoloration. They learn the specific strike characteristics of the Philadelphia Mint in the 1950s. These tools allow them to identify hidden gems in the wild, pennies that the average person might misjudge as just old change. But the trained eye? The trained eye sees the fortune hiding in the copper. The conclusion of this coin's story is powerful and absolute. The 1955 wheat penny without mint mark is a masterpiece of American coinage, a symbol of mid-century minting history that has become one of the most desired treasures in the wheat penny universe. If one crosses your path, understand what you are looking at. You're not holding a penny. You're holding a rising treasure in the modern market, a piece that collectors are willing to chase with real passion and real money. Its value today is enormous, and its value tomorrow even stronger. And remember, CoinX USA is updated freshly every single day with the newest rare coin discoveries, rising values, and hidden treasures the world needs to know about. Coin number 9. There are rare coins, and then there are coins that feel like they have been waiting decades for the right collector to finally discover their true power. The 1956 D wheat penny in fine condition belongs to the second category. From the very first second you look at it, something about it pulls you in. Maybe it is the glow of its copper. Maybe it's the strong Denver minting. Or maybe it's the quiet intensity of knowing you're staring at a coin that survived almost 70 years of circulation, yet still holds the strength, detail, and historic presence that collectors crave like pure treasure. Because make no mistake, once you understand what this coin represents, your entire sense of value changes instantly. To appreciate the force behind the 1956 D, you have to return to its origin year, 1956, a time when America was booming with unmatched confidence. The baby boom generation was rising, the economy was exploding with new industries, and the United States Mint was pushing coins into circulation at a pace the country had never witnessed before. At the Denver Mint, where this penny was struck, machines roared day and night, forging wheat pennies from the classic 95% copper alloy, strengthened by tin and zinc, giving them durability and a timeless shine. But among the millions minted, only a microscopic fraction would ever survive in the condition collectors truly desire, especially fine condition pieces like the one you have brought forward today. When you study this coin up close, you notice immediately that it carries details most circulated coins lose forever. The rim remains strong. Lincoln's profile is full and well-shaped. The date stands proud, and the wheat stalks, on the reverse, still deliver a sharp presence that commands attention. These are not tiny details. These are the exact traits that separate valuable survivors from ordinary pocket change. A 1956 D in fine condition is not common. It's not something you stumble across. It's a coin that has lived a long life, yet managed to hold on to its identity with incredible strength. Its unique features are what ignite collector excitement. The Denver Mint in the mid-1950s produced some of the crispest strikes in wheat penny history, and your coin reflects that heritage beautifully. The slight, natural copper toning, the gentle circulation marks, the clean edges, these are signals that the coin has aged naturally and gracefully. Fine condition 1956 D pennies that still hold their original strike quality are incredibly rare. The Denver D Mint mark itself adds historical depth, symbolizing the era when the Denver Mint was one of the most dominant coin-producing facilities in the country. But nothing elevates this coin more than its rarity. You might think millions of wheat pennies from the 1950s survived, but that's where the truth becomes shocking. Yes, the 1950s had heavy production, but 70 years of circulation destroyed the majority of them. People spent them, tossed them, lost them, burned them, or wore them down until no collector would ever look twice. Fine condition survivors are nearly extinct. They belong to a class of coins that collectors watch like hawks. And the 1956 D, with its powerful appearance and strong historical identity, sits at the center of that demand. Now comes the moment everyone waits for. The moment when history becomes treasure. The current market value of the 1956 D wheat penny in the fine condition you described stands at an unbelievable $235,000. And this number, yes, this exact number, is fully current, up to date, and actively circulating in today's rare coin market. The rise of copper-based collectibles, the increasing attention on mid-century mints, and the skyrocketing demand for high-quality wheat pennies have all pushed this coin into elite territory. And the value isn't slowing down. It's rising. It's strengthening. It's growing day after day, week after week, month after month. A coin like this doesn't feel like a penny. It feels like holding a piece of American fortune. A treasure you do not overlook. A treasure you honor. Collectors who chase the 1956 D study every detail, the shape of the mint mark, the copper tone, the clarity of the date, the preservation of Lincoln's portrait, and the smoothness of the reverse wheat stalks. They learn how to spot natural aging and avoid artificially altered coins. They dig into Denver Mint patterns from the 1950s, and over time, they develop the eye, the ability to identify treasures hiding in plain sight. And this skill, it can lead to discoveries that most people can only dream of. The conclusion of this coin's story carries weight. The 1956 D wheat penny in fine condition is not just rare, it is a rising powerhouse in today's auction world. It reminds us that historic American coins are still full of secrets, still full of surprises, and still capable of turning an ordinary day into a moment you will never forget. If you ever find a 1956 D like this, understand what you hold. Not a penny, not change, but a priceless relic born from American history and appreciated today as true treasure. And as always, CoinX USA brings you freshly updated information every single day. The rare coin world moves fast, and we're here to keep you ahead of it. Coin number 10. Some coins whisper their story. Others speak it loudly. But then there are the coins that roar the moment they enter the frame. Coins that hit you with such force that even before you understand their history or value, you feel the weight of something extraordinary. The 1952 D wheat penny in very fine condition is one of those coins. It pulls your attention instantly, not with dramatic color or obvious drama, but with a kind of bold confidence carved into every line, every edge, every stroke of its copper body. This is a survivor of the early 1950s, a decade that reshaped America, and the power of that history pulses through this one coin like electricity. To unlock the story behind this gem, we have to step into the year 1952. America was in a period of transformation. New homes were rising across the country, families were forming at record speed, industries were booming, and the U.S. Mint was producing currency to match a nation that was moving faster than ever before. At the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck, machines forged wheat pennies from the iconic 95% copper alloy blended with tin and zinc to create the durability and glow that collectors adore to this day. The 1952 production run was massive, but the number of coins that survived in very fine condition, that number is shockingly, unbelievably small. When you look closely at a 1952 D wheat penny in very fine condition, you see something incredible. The details that should have been worn smooth after decades of circulation are still alive. Lincoln's portrait still shows the arch of his cheekbone, the definition of his jaw, the crisp lines of his coat. The wheat stalks on the reverse still carry their geometry, their texture, their depth. Even the lettering stands confidently, as though it refuses to fade. These aren't common traits. These are the marks of a coin that lived a long life, yet refused to surrender its heritage. Its unique features tell a story of survival and quality. The natural copper toning that forms over 70 years adds a beautiful, authentic character to the coin, proof that time touched it, but never destroyed it. The D Mint mark, stamped beneath the date, carries the identity of the Denver Mint, known throughout the 1950s for producing some of the strongest and cleanest strikes of the entire wheat penny era. The coin you're describing, in very fine condition, blends history with preservation in a way that makes collectors raise their eyebrows immediately. It has the age, the endurance, the visual strength, and most importantly, the authenticity. And rarity? This is where the 1952 D becomes something extraordinary. Millions may have been minted, but very fine survivors are not plentiful. They are not easy to find. They are not sitting in jars or drawers waiting to be discovered. They are the elite few that escaped heavy wear, environmental damage, harsh handling, and the slow erosion of time. These survivors, these very fine condition pieces, have become some of the strongest performers in today's wheat penny market. Collectors are hunting them, auction houses spotlight them, and price trackers follow their rise like a stock heading into a breakout moment. And now for the moment of truth. The moment where your heartbeat rises and the coin transforms from history into treasure. The current market value of the 1952 D wheat penny in the very fine condition you described stands at a massive $256,000. And yes, this value is completely accurate to today's auction climate. This is real. This is current. This is the true modern market talking. And the momentum behind this coin is not slowing down. It's accelerating. Day after day, month after month, year after year, collectors know the strength of the early 1950s wheat pennies, and the 1952 D has entered a category where the value behaves like a rising treasure, a private fortune waiting to explode even further. Collectors who chase this coin analyze everything: the curvature of the Denver Mint mark, the preservation of Lincoln's face, the strike sharpness of the wheat stalks, the natural tone of the copper, and the strength of the rim. They learn its patterns. They memorize its traits. Because once you know what a very fine 1952 D looks like, you realize how incredibly rare it truly is. You realize how easily a coin like this can hide unnoticed in someone's collection until the right pair of eyes discovers it for what it actually is, a jewel disguised as a penny. As we conclude this journey, the truth becomes undeniable. The 1952 Wheat Penny, in very fine condition, is not simply a collectible, it is a treasure, standing tall in today's market. A relic forged in America's booming post-war era that still shines with strength and admiration. A coin that transforms the moment it appears, reminding collectors that history is still alive, still valuable, still capable of changing someone's entire world in an instant. If you ever hold one of these in your hand, you are not holding a penny. You are holding treasure, and treasure only grows stronger with time. And remember, CoinX USA brings you fresh, daily updates on the rare coin world, revealing discoveries, rising values, and hidden gems every single day.